Hey guys, welcome back. This is a quick 17-minute restorative and relaxing flow. It opens up your hips, your side body, and your chest. If you are looking to relax and unwind from your day, come and join me on the mat. Alright, so we're going to start in the back of our mat in child's pose. Reaching forward, really gripping our fingers onto the mat and releasing our sit bones closer to our heels. We're going to exhale and bring our hands to the left, reaching in a child's pose, but towards our left. Breathing deep. Inhale back to center and exhale to the right. Getting started here, taking it slow, coming into our breathing. Back to center. Slowly rolling up, finding a straight spine, and lifting up onto your knees, tucking both toes so each toe touches the mat, and releasing our sit bones to the heels. Sitting tall, finding a nice stretch in your toes, the whole bottom of your feet, and remaining to breathe here. Crown of the head to the sky. A nice, tall spine. On the next exhale, place your hands on the mat and untuck your feet and tap them out, releasing that stretch. Reversing the toes pose, your hands meet the mat behind you while you lift your knees off of the mat. Feeling a stretch in your ankles, the tops of your feet. Going to any place that feels comfortable. If you want to try to do it without your hands supporting you behind you, continuing to breathe deep here. Exhale, hands to the mat, and tap those toes out again. Remaining on your knees, slowly rise up, raising your hands to the sky with slight back bend, and releasing hands to the mat in front of you, rounding your spine, head to the mat. And again, inhale, hands to the sky, reaching behind you, fluidly exhaling, hands to the mat, rounding the spine. Big inhale, hands to the sky. Leaning to your right with your hands extended on an exhale. And inhale, center. Exhale, extended to the right. Nice side body stretch for both sides of the body. Center and release your hands behind you, clasping. Raising the chest open. Reaching down to the ground. Releasing our heads back, breathing deep here. And release. Coming back to our breath, we're going to find ourselves tabletop. And extend our hips backward into downward dog. Walking it out if that feels good. Pushing your hands into the ground, releasing your shoulders from your ears. And just feeling this first downward dog. Extending the right leg up, grounding in that left leg. Bending that knee and getting ready to flip it over into wild thing. Reaching the mat and extending that arm towards the back. Feeling your whole front body open up. Slowly coming back into three-legged dog. Right leg finds mat and switching sides. The left leg reaches high. Toes pointed, reaching to the sky. Bending that knee. Opening the hip. Shoulders above wrists and flipping it into wild thing. Left arm reaches behind you this time, opening up. Breathing deep. And exhale, slowly coming back. Three-legged dog, downward dog. Exhale, coming into plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. Right leg extends high as you slowly exhale and plant it in between your hands, the front of your mat. Shimmying that right foot to the outer edge of the mat. Finding lizard pose. You can go deeper and get onto your elbows if you'd like, or stay on your hands and sway back and forth to find some movement in this, but this should feel really nice in your left hip flexor, in your right glutes and thighs. Placing the left knee down, upper body rises, and you're just going to lean to your left a little bit, getting a little twist and side body stretch in. Making your way back into downward dog to reverse sides. Left leg rises this time. Exhale, lands on the mat, on the outside of your hands, right into lizard pose. If you can't do that, you can place it in between and shimmy it over to the left. But we want to find that deep stretch again here. Coming down onto our elbows if that feels good. If you can't have your knee off of the ground, it can be placed on the mat for extra support. Breathing deep here, long exhales, long inhales. This is a really deep stretch. Wherever you are, come up to your hands and inhale your left leg back up to three-legged dog. One more breath here and down to downward dog. Rolling up into plank and finding your chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Pushing into the mat with the tops of your feet. Look to your left and then to your right. Rolling slowly back to downward dog. Inhale, right leg extends up as you bring it forward to the top of your mat, finding pigeon pose. Square your hips. Draw your left hip down to the mat. Make sure your back leg is nice and straight. You're just going to find what feels comfortable here. Releasing the lower back. You can draw your arms down to the mat, forward folding. And just hanging here with your breath. Continue your breathing. If you need to refrain from going so deep, you can come back up onto your forearms if you did fold over. Or you can remain here and just continue to breathe. The deeper you breathe, the more you release. Slowly coming up, if you were folded over, staying in pigeon, you're going to bend that back knee that is extended and grab it with your left arm, your left hand. Maybe you can put it in between the crease of your elbow. If you'd like to clasp your hands and find mermaid pose, opening your chest, slowly releasing that back foot back to the mat, hands to the mat, to downward dog. Walking that pigeon pose out, moving our hips around, and changing sides. Left leg extends to find pigeon pose on your left. Remembering to square your hips, extend the back leg straight. Slowly releasing down, forward folding. If that feels good. But remembering to breathe. Big belly breaths here. If you'd like to lean to the left, to the right, you can find movement here also. Small movements. And then coming out of this pose, we're going to find our mermaid, bending that back knee, grabbing it anywhere that feels good, whether it's in between your elbow or your hand. And just taking some deep breaths here with a tall spine. Clasping your hands if you'd like to deepen that stretch. And slowly releasing back down. On an inhale, come out of pigeon and coming back to downward dog. Pedaling your feet, moving your hips in circles to the left, to the right. And slowly taking steps on your tippy toes, if you'd like. Find yourself folded over at the top of your mat, staying and remaining on your tippy toes as you forward fold. And then release. Release your heels down, stay in forward fold. Rising up now with your hands to the sky, finding a back bend, and exhaling your hands to center. Adjusting your feet now to the edges of your mat. Prepare to come down into Malasana, a nice deep yogi squat. Great for the hips and the inner thighs. Having a nice tall spine, the top of your head reaches to the sky. You can use your elbows to push your knees out further. Place your left hand onto the mat as you reach your right arm over. Getting a nice side body stretch. And back down to center, switching arms, right hand to the mat as the left arm reaches over, reaching to the right. And back down to the mat. Repeat. Right arm reaches to the left as that left arm is planted. And the right arm plants as you reach that left arm. Back to center. Slowly forward fold in that Malasana. Forearms try to reach the mat. Stretching out the entire back body. Keeping your spine rounded. And taking deep breaths. Slowly rising back to Malasana. You want to tuck your pelvis, landing on your butt, and slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, coming down into a lying position. Keeping the left leg planted, you're going to place that right leg over your left and adjust your hips to the right a little. Drop both knees to the left, twisting our entire stomach area, our upper body, staying here. Your hand can be out into a T as you gaze to your right. Coming back into center and just switching your legs, left leg over right, adjusting your hips and dropping the knees down to the ground. To whatever height feels comfortable. We never need to touch the ground. But breathing deep into our belly here. Slowing down. Rising back to center, our knees. Planting our legs onto the ground. Preparing ourselves for Shavasana. Relaxing. Coming back to our normal breath. Feeling the difference in our bodies. And thanking ourselves for showing up. I would suggest staying in Shavasana for a couple of minutes. And thank you for practicing.